So recently on the channel, we've been covering a VTuber who you guys probably know called Neuro Sama. Now, obviously, Neuro Sama is an AI VTuber, meaning that obviously she is not real. She is a, obviously AI model that has been developed by a person called Vedal. Now, Vedal obviously is all run on their channel, and they're great. I mean, obviously, tons of people really love the content, and we've recently been covering the pixel canvas, which is absolutely overtaken by her and her fans. And obviously, yeah, they absolutely completely controlled the entire canvas, which was so funny, and obviously a lot of people really enjoyed. But it seems like obviously there's been some debates going on in the community about Neuro Sama again, and this has kind of been a thing that's been going on ever since she first started up. Now, if you guys don't remember, obviously Neuro Sama got popular a while back, obviously due to a lot of the clips that were coming out of people finding ways to get around the moderation and things like that. I think that was one of the main things that got her popular, and also the most enticing thing is obviously the fact that she is AI, and people were just very interested by it. But I think it has now evolved beyond just an AI gimmick, and now it has evolved to obviously Neuro Sama and Vedal. I think Vedal does play a really big part in a lot of the content that Neuro Sama does, as it isn't like he just kind of like lets her just do her own thing and lets her stream the whole time. He seems to be an active part of the stream most of the time, and obviously people have been talking about this over on r/virtual YouTubers recently, which is kind of a coincidence, seeing as obviously I've been talking about all the canvas stuff. And obviously they say people who say anti-AIs make exception for Neuro only because they like her is missing the point. Not wrong, just missing the point. Now obviously, yeah, as you know, there's probably a lot of people who are against Neuro Sama, obviously due to AI and things like that, and people dislike AI because it can replace jobs, and it can do a lot of damage to real people. But at the same time, there's many people out there who obviously hate AI and hate like AI generation or whatever, like to do with images. But then whenever it comes to Neuro Sama, they're like, oh, this is okay, which obviously a lot of people find kind of confusing. But also, I think a lot of people are missing the point of Neuro Sama. I think there is a bigger point behind this, and also just a more interesting factor, as obviously Vedal plays a really large part in the community. And obviously people have been debating down in the comments saying it's been like this for 3 years, and Neuro still holds an almost exclusive monopoly on the AI VTuber niche because she's the result of a lot of hard work. It's not something that is easily replicated with the same sort of charm and appeal. 100%. And I think that like kind of hits the nail on the head here, this comment. As you know, as I said, Vedal plays a massive part in terms of creating Neuro Sama and creating the personality and stuff that he does, and puts in a lot of work behind other, things to kind of make it more fun. Because yes, you could easily now make an AI model VTuber, right? But it is the case of, will it be popular, and can you put in enough work to make it popular? And the answer 9 times out of 10 is no, because a lot of people wanting to make AI VTubers want to do it because, again, it's just lazy, it's an easy thing to do, we'll just prop it up and maybe profit off of it. But that isn't the case with Neuro Sama, because obviously Vedal is like a kind of skilled developer who is looking to kind of improve and change things about the model constantly, which is what makes Neuro Sama interesting. Obviously, yes, you could put a chatbot on Twitch, but it's not going to do good. Because again, it's going to be pretty monotone. There isn't really going to be much personality to it. And obviously, it seems like, Vedal has been working very hard to make it more personal and make it a lot better. And obviously, yeah, as this person puts it perfectly, it's the result of a lot of hard work, and it can't be replicated as easily. And obviously, people saying, and that niche and our origin attract fandom from, well, several most dedicated fandom, like the Venn diagram is shocking. So not to forget the fun interactions of other streamers and her creator, which, yeah, is 100% true, because as I said, Neuro Sama usually isn't the only aspect to the stream. Now, sometimes, yes, she does do like streams on her own or whatever, or like, there's multiple streams, right, that she does. But a lot of the streams that you usually see with Neuro Sama is collaborations, or with Vedal on the screen, kind of talking with her and having a little bit of fun. And obviously that is a lot of the content. It's collab content and things like that to get people's reaction to the AI. For example, we showed a clip the other day of, CDawg interacting with Neuro Sama, obviously them doing rock, paper, scissors, and you could see the very audible pause in her waiting for him to say a rock, paper, or scissors output. and then obviously he didn't say anything, and then she went, okay, fine, and went rock, and then he went paper. Again, obviously, it was quite funny because, again, you have these funny interactions with the AI, which you usually wouldn't get with a lot of other people, and I think that is a very interesting factor of Neuro Sama, which I think a lot of other AI kind of VTubers or whatever can't really do. And I thought about this for a while as well, because obviously we have been covering this quite a bit. If, for example, like, you know, what is the probability that a lot of VTubers and a lot of creators are going to be replaced by AI? Now, obviously, yes, a lot will be replaced. We're already seeing a lot being replaced with shorts and stuff, you know, the really annoying AI shorts. But what we're seeing, though, is the fact that, you know, there's a lot of AI shorts and stuff out there. But have you ever heard anybody say that they like it? Right? There are some, obviously, that they're like, okay, this is fine, whatever, it's got an AI voice. But there's a lot of AI shorts out there which a lot of people don't like. For example, like the genuine content, right? Surely, yeah, if it's like a, you know, informational piece, for example, like a quick like news thing or whatever, nobody's really going to care. They're just going to listen to it anyways, or maybe like a story, right? But if it's like a genuine kind of streamer reaction or something like that, then nobody's going to want to watch AI stuff. I'm going to be honest. Like, obviously, a lot of people have this kind of thing in their mind that AI is going to take over, which I think it will. I think it will to the most part. But I don't think content will be as good, you know, with that kind of stuff. And I think that, obviously, Neuro Sama is a little bit of an exception from this because, again, you know, and obviously maybe is the kind of starting point for how that is going to happen going forwards, because again, it is actually an interesting model, but at the same time, you still need that human interaction to make it interesting, right? If it was just her talking the entire time and nobody else, no real human, I think people would get bored after a little bit of a while. But obviously, you know, Vedal and people have set up kind of, you know, good collaborations and good kind of things to kind of move it forwards to keep everything interesting. And obviously, that is the result of hard work. That's why she's doing so good. And that's why a lot of anti-AI people don't mind her, because of the amount of work that has gone into it. People said this before, and I'll say it again. As someone who works with AI for a living, Neuro as a system is a more interesting project than any of what I would, what if I throw more processing power at a basic LLM project that lots of big companies are blindly throwing money at. None of her parts by themselves are anything special, but Vedal has shown some real skill in getting them all to play together nicely, and the result is a novel concept, which, yeah, is very, very cool. You know, for example, like the joining of Discord voice chats, I thought that was really cool. You know, you never see that with any other model. It feels like she is almost a real VTuber, and I think that is a really cool part that they've added to Neuro Sama, in the sense that, you know, obviously, as I said, you can stick up a VTuber model and get an AI to do a chatbot to people in chat, right? That's, you know, easy, right? But the hard parts are, for example, yes, getting her to join Discord voice chats with other VTubers and other creators and stuff, and also getting her to tweet. You know, she literally tweets. I'm pretty sure all of these are generated by her. I don't think this is Vedal behind the posts doing it all. It is all Neuro Sama herself tweeting this. And obviously, I think that's really cool too, because it provides extra interaction outside of the stream itself, which obviously proves that, you know, they are trying to do more than what is actually just the kind of bare minimum. They say none of her parts by themselves or anything special. Yeah, obviously, yeah, we read that. Yeah, there's nothing super special about the core of Neuro, an outside perspective, but she's definitely been upgraded with some really unique stuff over time, like being able to play Minecraft, call/message people over Discord, raid other streamers, etc. I'm sure she's not the first or only program that can do this, but it seems like she's the first AI that can and will. So I wouldn't mind if she took over the world, to be honest. So yeah, so it's been proven that smaller models can sometimes match or even beat bigger ones in certain tasks because they trained on more clearer and more relevant data, which, yeah, is 100% true. So yeah, a lot of people have been, you know, kind of debating this in the comments, and I think a lot of the general consensus is that, you know, a lot of people like Neuro Sama, and I think a lot of people, you know, try to call out people who are anti-AI for liking Neuro, but at the end of the day, I think it is a really cool project that is kind of going on. And I don't think it's going to affect too much, I think, in the future. Obviously, people saying, I don't think people object to AI, and even, and even machine learning exist for well over a decade now, and is used a lot. Nobody's minds, it's able to identify genes that create chance of cancer. People are against the low-quality, misleading, cost-cutting uses of generative AI, which, yeah, is true. And I think that is the main thing that people need to take away from this, is that, you know, Neuro Sama isn't just another case of trying to make slop content for the point of making slop content. You know, as I said, you know those YouTube shorts, which literally some guy has gone onto an AI prompt and just went, yeah, let's just kind of slop this out and I'll make a ton of money off this. Hell yeah, let's go, right? But obviously with Neuro Sama, there is more behind it. There is more actual kind of a dedication to the AI itself, rather than using it as a tool just to promote cheap, easy content that will just farm people money, right? And I think that is the difference, and why people accept Neuro much more than a lot of kind of other creators and stuff that use AI in the space. So yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting topic. Obviously, if you guys want to let me know what you guys think about this down in the comments, I would definitely like to know exactly what you guys have to say, because again, it's just interesting, you know, it's interesting. Maybe some of you guys have different opinions. Maybe you don't like Neuro because of this. Maybe you love Neuro because of this. Again, I'm very interested. Me personally, I love Neuro. She's great. I think she's a great addition to the community, and has provided some really great kind of additions to just stuff in general. You know, obviously Vedal works extremely hard on this kind of stuff, and yeah, I hope to see it continue in the future. But yeah, very interesting conversation. If you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameStop, use my code Kaza, get 10% off again. They've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. I definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.